My name is Joe, and I'm not that different than most of you listening here today. I've been coming to Faith Church since 2013, and for the first 3 years, I didn't have any inclination to choose to volunteer. It's just not something that was part of my church experience. I would come to church, listen to the service, and then go home, and that was it. In 2016, Faith Church challenged us to do something beyond ourselves to help those who are new coming to Faith Church. They gave us 3 choices of how we could help. The first was to park off-site and take the shuttle to campus. I didn't want to do that. The second was to give up our seat in the center, and I didn't want to do that. And the last choice they gave us was to volunteer. I really didn't want to do that either, but I figured I ought to do something. So I started looking at the different options of serving. One was working with kids, and I didn't think that would work. The second was working the coffee bar, and no one wanted to drink that coffee. The third I chose was to work in the parking lot. So the parking lot commitment was for 1 year. It was every week, through all kinds of weather. I have to admit, I really didn't enjoy it. In fact, I remember driving to church on Sunday mornings, saying to my wife and son, 28 weeks down, 24 to go, 29 weeks down, 23 to go. At one point, and I'm not sure exactly when, but I actually started to enjoy it. As we got close to the end of the 1 year commitment, I kind of knew in my mind I wanted to keep going, but I still wouldn't admit it to my wife and son. But then, when it came time to re-sign up, I said absolutely I'm going to do it, and they were shocked. God was changing something in my heart. I realized that I was helping people, maybe their first trip to Faith Church, making their experience a little bit better. Hopefully they'll come back the next week. And the impact that I might be having on guests also was having an impact on me. I was beginning to build community with my fellow parking lot attendants. It's gotten to the point where I've come to recognize the cars, the faces, and then some of the names. I really enjoy it. They probably enjoy it too, I think. They sometimes will bring me a can of soda, a candy bar. It's really not a bad gig. I've started to love it so much that in 2020, when church shut down because of the pandemic, I really missed it. And even when church was opening back up and my family was still playing it a little safe, I really missed it, knowing that people were here and I wasn't out in the parking lot helping. One of my favorite parts of the job is on a Sunday when the spots are filling up and it gets to the point where there's no place to put the cars. Then I know people are coming to church and things are getting back to normal, and it's just great. If you're like me, you're probably wondering, well, why would a church this size need my help? But in looking back and seeing what the last number of years have been for me out in the parking lot, I'm just happy to be a small part of what goes on here every Sunday morning. If there's one thing I've learned, is that sometimes God is asking you to step out of your comfort zone. And now, this act of serving is actually one of my favorite parts of coming to church every Sunday.